Hi everyone, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video I want to share a different perspective on how the skincare industry could have started. It's almost the opposite of what I said in my last video, but not because I think this is the full truth. Rather, it's another way the skincare story could have happened. And when you think about it, it might actually be a quite reasonable explanation as well. So what if it didn't start with clever advertising or big sales pushes at all? Maybe it began with something much simpler. Perhaps it started with people genuinely seeing results and telling others about them, and those stories then spread. Those first customers might have truly felt their skin was getting better, so the idea took hold that the right routine could make a real difference. When someone's blemishes faded or their skin looked a bit smoother, they naturally thought the product had done it. Because why wouldn't they? The advice made sense at the time, and there was something visible to point to, even if it was only a small change. So people kept using their routines for weeks, months, maybe even years, and many believed their skin was better because of them. But maybe it was also just the skin's natural cycle doing its job. A blemish appears, a few days pass, it heals, the redness fades, and so it feels like that specific cleanser, toner or serum must have been the reason. As more people experienced this, they talked about it. Friends shared recommendations, and those personal stories gave the products more credibility. Companies saw this response and thought they were onto something, and in the beginning, they probably truly believed that too. After that, studies began to appear. They weren't necessarily false, but they often focused on certain ingredients and highlighted what they could do, even if the benefits were small or short-lived. Still, these results gave the industry confidence that they were heading into the right direction. So companies refined their formulas, added new steps, and launched more products, thinking they were making them better. Over time, interest grew, and with the help of social media, trends began to move faster than the science could keep up with. And somewhere along the way, skincare stopped being personal. It became about routines that look good in reels, shelves that look good in flat lace, and steps that promised more than anyone could measure. People weren't asking, what does my skin actually need? They were asking, what am I missing? And instead of listening to their skin, they listened to the noise, because there was just so much of it. The advice got louder, expectations got higher, and skin, which was once just skin, became a project to manage. And that's how the cycle could have developed. More products, more skincare steps than anyone ever needed, and more belief that the next launch might finally be the answer. What we see today might simply be the result of decades of shared optimism. Results that were real for some, but not always for the reasons people assumed. So maybe it didn't start as a plan to mislead anyone, but rather as a genuine attempt to help, strengthened by the stories and trends that no one slowed down to question. But over time, the advice stopped fitting everyone's reality, because it assumed the skin would respond like it did for those early success stories, without taking into account diet, environment, stress, or even sleep. So when your results don't match the promises, you might blame yourself, and companies may still believe their products work, because they did, for someone once. The truth is, skincare can be helpful, but perhaps not always in a way we expect. And a lot of what we believe about it comes from a mix of good intentions, selective science, and the rush to keep up with demand. And excitement will always move faster than slow, careful answers, so the cycle continues. Buying, adjusting, hoping, while our skin just keeps doing what it's always done. And if your skin doesn't look like the ads, maybe that isn't failure, but simply that we've all believed in something more complicated than it first seemed. So listen to your skin, because sometimes what it needs isn't the next big launch, it's a step back and a bit of perspective. Yesterday I gave you one way of looking at it, and today I've given you another. And now it's up to you to decide which one makes more sense to you. And in that sense, stay safe, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.